Today we're going to tie a winter favorite of mine called the Dredge. The Dredge gets its name from what you do with it. I use it to dredge the deep holes in the wintertime, slow moving pools. It's a very productive pattern for me, and we'll go over how I tie it. I start off with black uni thread, 8/0, and a size 12 Orvis bead head hook. And I wrap a thread base back to the barb. Pretty standard. And then next we tie in our tail fibers. For my tail I use dyed black pheasant tail. I tie in a fairly decent clump. Good 6 fibers. And then I take the butts and I bind them down. Next we're going to tie in our rib, which is black ultra wire. I tie it on the side of the hook and I bring it back to the barb as well. I do this slightly out of order as standard because then we're going to apply our wire. I use non-lead wire, medium, and I'm going to start off right in front of where the tail fibers are tied in. I'm going to wrap this forward to about 2 eye lengths short of the eye. And at this point I'm going to tie everything down, make sure we bind it in place fairly well. Okay, next we're going to tie in 3 strands of peacock curl. I tie it in just short of the end of the lead, bring it back again to the point of the barb, and then bring my thread forward again. And then we're going to bring that peacock curl forward. And build our body. Just single layer. No need to really taper anything. The lead's already doing that for us. And we're going to tie that off. Trim the butts. And then once that is done, we're going to bring those butt ends of the tail fibers forward. I'll lash them down. And then we're going to bring the wire forward as well and rib it. It's a good heavy rib. adds to the weight. And we're going to trim both of these off. Trim off because we're going to use a larger section of pheasant tail fibers in a second. And we're going to cover our wire. And next we're going to tie in another clump of pheasant tail fibers. This time we're going to pull about a dozen of them. What we're going to do, we're going to measure these, be about shank length. Try and get the tips even. We're going to measure about shank length, and at that point we're going to tie it in at the beginning of the thorax. And we're going to leave it there. And trim off the butts. We're going to take that back in just a little bit into the peacock curl. Okay. Next we're going to get 3 dyed black ostrich herl. And we're going to tie them in at the butt section. Pinch wrap at the thorax. Bind those butts down. And then we're going to add a little bit of black ice dub. I'm not going to go crazy with the ice dub. We just want something to come through that, shine through that ostrich herl. I'm going to give a slightly tapered thorax with the ice dub. And then we're going to bring our peacock herl forward. Bind down those butts. And then, as expected, if you haven't guessed yet, we're going to bring our pheasant tail fibers forward. Bind them down right at the back. And then we're going to split them. Pheasant tail fashion. Pull them back out of the way and get them divided. And then sweep them down. And do a little bit better job of keeping your fingers out of the way than I just did. Find them down and build your head. And a couple unruly ones. I build a substantial head. I only use 8/0 thread, so there we go. And then build your head, rip finish. And apply your head cement. But there it is, the Dredge. Fairly basic pattern. Heavy materials. Everything has a property that you want in a deep dredging pattern. It's a good early spring stonefly pattern, but I use it as a prospecting pattern. When I'm fishing dual nymphs in the wintertime and dredging nice and slow and deep, this tends to be my first fly, and then I tag one on to the end of this. Very good prospecting pattern, works coast to coast. I've had it in my box for quite a while. I hope it adds to yours. Thank you very much.